right then. Hello, this is Southpaw Hair.
And this is CloudCuckooCountry.
And we are playing some Yomi again. We are doing something a little different this time, though. We are going to be doing a bit of a series here where we play the game, and we are going to be doing it together as a team, sort of a collective mind, all under the form of one player, if you will.
Yeah.
So what we're going to do to start with is we're going to start things off by fighting the bot. The AI in this game is actually surprisingly good if you put it on like hard mode bot. And we're going to use that time to just sort of explain basic premise of what we're doing and some of the basic rules. So anyone who is a beginner to this game, we want to explain what we're doing. And then we're actually going to go from there and challenge some real people and have some real actual matches. And as we play, Nick and I are going to be sort of switching off who is in control. So we have this little screen up here, and every time I click it, randomly, there's a lot of Nick. Holy crap.
Seems to like me.
But it randomly...
I'm so popular with the bot.
randomly picks one of us, and whoever it says is going to have the final say on the play, just to prevent us from getting sort of deadlocked on the decision. But we're still going to be talking back and forth about the situation and trying to come to a consensus together, and trying to sort of combine our strategic intellect and see if that helps us rather than cripples us. So, like I said, we're going to start with the bot. Do you have anything you want to say about the two characters that we're going to start with here?
Alright, so just to make sure that we're, starting off as simple as possible, we're using the two standard characters. So Grave is basically Ryu from Street Fighter. He's the default character. He's the all-rounder who, is a little bit good at everything. And Rook is the standard grappler. I don't know what his equivalent in Street Fighter is, but
basically, the big Russian guy,
he's Zangief from Street Fighter. He's good at throwing instead of attacking. So you have a basic all-rounder on the left and basic grappler on the right, and that should be a good match to start us off with explaining everything.
Yep. We're going to switch the music to the awesome music. Okay.
Yep.
And the game has begun, and the bot is taunting us. It does that. Rook is going to crush us. Okay. So one of the most important things to consider is your opening hand. So you start with 7 cards, and you can go all the way up to 12. Technically 13, because the hand cap at 12 is counted at the end of the turn. So you can go up to 13 cards, and you can go all the way down to 0 cards. So 7 cards is like right in the middle of what you want. So we're always gonna want to take a look at our opening hand and really analyze it really well. First though, so Nick, why don't you explain the basic options, the basic 4 options in Yomi?
Okay, so the basic 4 options are attack, which you can see on the cards in red, block, which you can see on the cards in blue, dodge in pink, and throw in black. And they are arranged in a simple rock, paper, scissors style fashion. Attack beats throw beats block and dodge, and block and dodge beat attacks. And each of these options is weighted, so you're not just trying to guess what your opponent is playing the whole time. Attack is your basic damage move, so you just play it and then you can combo into more attacks and you can do high damage off of that. Throws usually do a little bit less damage, but they can knock down or can be pumped or what have you. So sometimes throw is you want that more than you want attack, because knockdown is a sort of a status ailment to your opponent that gives you a slight advantage in the next turn. And blocking increases your hand size. So if you successfully block, the block gets put back in your hand and you draw an extra card. So that helps you build a hand if you run low on cards, or if you just don't have enough good options for your liking. Dodge is similar to block.
Even though they both lose and win to the same things, block and dodge are basically complete opposites.
Yeah, so if you successfully dodge an attack, you get a free hit. And that usually works if you have a high damaging attack in your hand that you don't want to risk losing in combat, or if you want to throw your opponent but you can't because they're attacking you too much.
Right, so the number of cards in our hand is always going to be an important factor. Like I said, we start with 7, and we're probably going to want to have a larger hand size build one.
Yeah. So 3 and 4 are not exactly optimal attacks to have against the Rook, and we want to do more than just throw because Rook is a grappler, so most of his throws beat all of our throws. So
we have a reasonably diverse starting hand, although we have no normal attacks of 5 or greater, which is special against Rook because he actually beats low-numbered attacks where normal people wouldn't. Anyway, I'm going to make the first move. So in the opening, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Here's a question for you. What are the chances of Rook playing a king throw the first turn? Because if he does, the only card that wins to that is an ace.
That's true.
Yes.
I would not be opposed to playing a concealed first turn ace, because, we don't have it. Saving them would be nice, but you're right, it would be our only option. I think the chances of that are pretty high. If he has one, he's probably going to play it. I think he knows that it's high value. So maybe we want to do that. Would you agree with that?
Yeah, I'd agree with that.
It's a little expensive, but okay, so that's going to be our first play. We're going to play this ace, which is a super move. That is exactly what we didn't want to do. So Rook used his block. That's not only a block, it's a reflector shield. So we take all of the damage that we were sending at him.
Yeah, that is...
Worst case...
That is weird. That is a weird first move from Rook.
I agree.
Yeah, but it turned out to be the hard counter to what we were doing, so...
Yep.
Oh well.
Well, it's your go now. We have a Martial Mastery. Do we want to use it?
No, not on this turn. Say, try and save your Martial Masteries for when your opponent is on low hand, or when you desperately need to change up your hand.
Okay,
so
I agree. So we have 3 of a kind here, by the way, which at the end of any turn you can trade in cards of the same suit for more aces. So if we traded in all 3 of these 9s, we could get 2 aces.
Obviously, the downside to this is that we don't really want to play the 9s this turn, because if we lose combat, if we block with them, then we lose the 9 and we can't trade them in for as many aces.
So if we wanted to trade these in at the end of the turn, we don't want to risk using them at all.
Yeah.
And we don't want to use our 7th row either, because we want to keep that with our Martial Mastery and expend it for the special power that we get into when we use it.
Yep.
So we actually have very little options here. We can do a 10 block.
Yeah. If we were to block or throw, I'd use the 10, mainly because that's it. Yeah.
Would you like to 10 block?
No, I think throw it a 3 attack.
3 attack it is. Nope.
Dang it.
That wasn't horrible. Do we want to power these up right now?
No, I'd say keep them for later, because otherwise...
That's probably...
Yeah, otherwise the hand size gets a little bit low, and then we don't have as many options.
Yeah, then we'd go,
We sacrifice for aces.
Okay, so my go. Now we have a 4-5. That's interesting. I'm going to go ahead and use 5 block, because we want to keep our 5 actually in case he, which he might have.
Yeah. The problem is that all of our blocks are useful.
Yeah.
Have other uses.
Okay, I'm using the 10.
So we have a bad hand at the moment.
We do. So I'm going to throw out 10 block and hope for the best. And we are successful. Man, that would have done a lot of damage. Okay, so here's what happened. We won block, so we got to draw a card. We're going to take our 10 back. So we basically net +2 cards on this turn. So that's great for us. We also get this special ability, which is unique only to our character Brave. We get to basically declare that what card we're going to play next turn. And if we actually do play with it, we gain benefits. So what do you think we're going to want to play next turn?
It's not exactly a best hand. Maybe
I'm
the
gonna say
5?
5? Because,
I'd say 5.
yep, okay. We're going to play 5, Rook. How do you feel about that? Okay, and no power up yet.
Alright.
Again. And we are going to play 5. Do we want to block or do we want to attack? I think it's very likely that he has a king throw by now, because he has 9 cards. So I'd 5 attack, honestly.
Yep, I do that as well.
So there we go. Okay, so that's very excellent. So, attack.
Awesome.
Attack always beats through. So that's true even for the slow attacks. So all the attacks and all the throws have speeds. And that declares what beats what when you use 2 of the same. If you use 2 attacks against each other, the faster attack wins, which is the one with the lower number. In this case, our attack was relatively slow. It would have gotten beaten out by a faster attack, but it beats all throws. It doesn't matter what his speed is. And his speed is slower. Doesn't matter. Okay, so we hit with our attack, and we just got this thing.
Yeah. So, Lightning Cloud. That's I don't know, that would be useful against Rook's blocks, but he has 100 health, so I'd go straight for damage.
Which one would you use?
I wouldn't use the ace, because we can power up to 3 aces.
Yes. Okay, so I guess I just use Lightning Cloud for the extra damage.
Yeah.
Okay, so we're allowed to combo from the 5 into that. Total the damage up together, 5 plus 8.
13.
Yes.
And now we get to draw a queen.
Why is it showing... Oh, gotcha, because... Right.
Yeah, I barely play Grave, so I'm like, knowing the opponent, what's happening?
Yes, so we
It's
played...
like, oh, we get to draw a queen.
We got this
Which are
because
less, yeah.
that thing from last turn where we got to declare what we were going to play, and then we played it, and then we won with it, so we get a Shoryuken. This is basically... You notice this attack is 0.0 speed, so it is the fastest attack in the game. You know, at least tied for other ones that are also 0.0.
Yeah.
So that's useful if we really want to beat pretty much all attacks and throws.
Except for Maximum Anarchy, but let's not get into that yet.
You're very excited to show off Zane.
I am very excited to show off Zane. Let's power up.
Get there. Okay, so now we're going to power these up. One from the discard, one from the deck. We have 3 aces. That's good.
Awesome.
Because play...
Now we can pull up the most insanely aggravating move in the entire game.
Yes, so this True Power of Storms, you can see the little ace icons here. There are 3 aces, of which we have 45 damage, which is a ton of damage. It's half of our life and almost half of Rook's life. Okay, so we're done here, and I get to play again. This is not useful right now.
No.
Okay.
Well, it might be useful.
Now we have 2 Dragon Punches and not a whole lot of other good stuff. So I feel like just Dragon Punching, to be honest.
Well, he has 10 cards, so we might go for the block, the Reflector Shield, because he saw us power up. But that'd be if I was facing a human player, which we are not facing at the moment. So...
I'm still more afraid of the King Throw, which we have not seen yet. So, yeah.
I suppose a 5 attack would be so useful right now.
Yep, well, we used it successfully, now we don't have one. So I'm going to throw out a Dragon. You good with that?
Yep, sure thing.
Yeah! That's the card that I was worried about, and we beat it. So 10 damage. And so the important thing about so this is very much a resource management game. So it's not just about dealing the damage, it's also the fact that we made him waste one of his high value cards. And there's only 4 of each card in each deck, so that's 1 down. He has, he has a less likely chance of using another one in the near future, and eventually he's just going to run out. So, mission successful on getting rid of that.
Yep.
it likes me now.
Yeah, it seems like it.
Now we have...
If I were you, which I'm not, but if I were you, I'd use the 7.
Yeah, well now we have 2 of them, so might as well. Okay, and we do another 7.
That's useful. Get rid of one of the 4s? Maybe?
I'd get rid of... Yeah.
Yeah. Don't want to get rid of too many dodges, because dodges are kind of high value, especially when you have a 45 damage move in your hand. He has a Joker.
Grave has like an average number of dodges, so not too bad. He has a Joker. Jokers are special cards that we won't get into the specifics, but they like to foil your plans. Basically, they're sort of your get out of jail free card in a few different contexts. He has a lot of good stuff. He has fast throws. He has high damage attacks. He has a fast attack. He has another king throw. He has 1 ace, which he cannot use, because both of his ace moves require additional aces. But he's basically got everything. 2, 3, 7, 8, 9, 10, jack.
Yeah. So we'd be afraid of him blocking because he's got entangling vines. We'd be afraid of him attacking because he's got a 2.2 fast attack. And we'd be afraid of him throwing because, well, he just has fast throws.
Yeah.
So any option is valid.
Well, we don't run it. Again.
Well, not any option, but you know.
I would probably use Lightning Cloud.
That would be good, although, you know, be wary of entangling vines.
Yeah, entangling vines would beat it.
Yeah, although that is the
Also, his fast attack would beat it too.
Yeah.
So maybe not. Maybe.
So in a jack off, in a jack off, if you both played a jack, it's
mature,
faster.
Nick.
Oh, come on.
Maybe let's.
I'd want to. Yeah, but all of our blocks are tied to special cards.
Yeah.
If you can counter Windmill Crusher with mental toughness, right?
Yes, actually.
Well, in that case, you should play the 4 attack.
Good point. Interesting. Well, 4 attack is slower though than Jack.
Yeah.
You could play the Jack.
Oh, but you can counter his the entangling vines as well, and you have a spare other card, which is the Queen. So you could Jack, and if he just does entangling vines, use mental toughness, get your Jack back, cancel his block.
Okay, so yeah.
So I'd say Jack.
Has
Jack
flaws,
is pretty. Yeah.
Why not? So let's do that.
Jack is pretty high favored for us. You just have to hope he doesn't Jack.
Okay.
Oh, sweet.
So we do damage. Now Rook gets to use his special ability, Rock Armor, and he does. Throws away some interesting cards to pay for it. That didn't seem right to me, but let's see what he does. And, okay, he just wanted the 8 damage. I think that was a bad move on the bot's part, honestly, but what do I know about playing Rook? Would you have gotten rid of an ace and a 10 for 8 damage?
Well, I have a. If I were playing Rook, I do have a Joker. So, well, I don't know. I wouldn't have gone for a Rock Armor in that situation either. I probably would have used Entangling Vines or a Throw. Either one of those.
Well, either way, we're in a position again. We know he still has the King Throw and the Joker and the special block. I'd probably block this turn, or I'd dodge. Block or dodge. They're both going to be pretty much the same thing, and we can do well with either. So here's the interesting thing of they win and lose the same things. Very different results.
Yeah, we still have mental toughness, so it could still beat his King Throw. Unless did he discard that?
No, that's the one he played earlier in the game.
Oh, okay. So still have mental toughness. So 4 attack is still viable, although I'd probably save that for when we know he doesn't have a Joker. I don't know, because we have 2 7s, we could risk a 7 block, I guess. Because I kind of do want to keep mental toughness.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's fair. Let's do that.
Yeah, also, I don't think 7, I don't think Martial Mastery is. Ah! 4 attack would have been so viable.
Yeah, so, you guys keeping track of the health bars, you can see why this is such a high value card. It does 15 damage on 1 card, which is, you can see our life bar just getting whittled away real fast.
Yeah.
Then we got our 5.
Although we do have a move that does 3 times as much damage in a single hit. But the question is, do we want to use it?
Apparently I'm up again. I swear I did not program that thing with any sort of bias.
Yeah.
Okay, so another tough choice. We know he doesn't have King Throw, we know he does have Joker, he does have Special Block. I would be tempted to throw,
Except both of our throws we can't attach to abilities.
yes, so that is an interesting question. I might still be tempted to throw away this 7 as a throw, but maybe
Yeah, I guess.
veto me on that one.
Oh, it is a bit of a dilemma. Well, because Martial Mastery isn't that useful at this point in the game, I don't think.
I agree.
Yeah, so...
Is throw our
He
best option, though. We could also always block. Blocking is that wonderful thing where it's like, it's always a reasonably good option, usually.
Yeah. Blocking is a relatively safe option, if only because throwing is usually a pretty high-risk option.
Yep.
Because it loses to attacks, and attacks are pretty powerful in terms of damage.
But that all gets thrown out the window when you fight someone like Rook, who specializes in throws more than everyone else.
Yeah. I don't know. In a situation like this, you wouldn't think that Rook would want to throw a lot, given that we have an attack that does 45 damage, but good players, and the Yomi Bot to some degree, know that because it's a 45 damage attack, we desperately don't want to lose it, so we won't. So the chances of us actually playing it are pretty low.
Yes. Well, on the other hand, we can always
Unless
play...
you're playing Zane and you're totally nuts.
Yes.
But
we can always play one of our normal attacks, such as this 5 or this 4, any of the numbered attacks, and if those hit, that's what they call a hit confirm. We can combo that into our super move, and therefore we don't have to risk wasting our super move before we know that it will actually work. With the exception
although he does have a Joker, and we do know he has a Joker. Yeah. For those who don't know, Jokers have a secondary use. It's called Rewind Time, but the community affectionately named it Blue Burst.
Yeah, it's basically
where
a combo breaker.
Yeah, but we lose the cards that we played in the combo anyway, so if we combo into triple ace and then he used the Joker, we lose all 3 aces and they do no damage.
Right.
Yeah.
Anyway, we should probably make a move. I'm still
we probably should. Yeah. Well, go ahead, but I distance myself from your decision making.
Okay.
I distance myself from this man's opinion.
Well.
Well.
Seems that I was correct. So now we can get.
See, that's why you should follow my advice more, Southpaw.
Well, it's funny because when you and I actually face each other, we seem to go like 50-50 even, like almost right down the middle sometimes.
Yeah.
So we can't really say that one player is making better decisions than the other.
That's true, yeah.
Anyway, we have, so we landed a throw, so that means we have lots of options. If we don't combo, we get a knockdown, which will hurt his defenses for next turn. Or, we could do something like 4 and 5 for an extra 9 damage. Or, we could play a single ace for 12 damage, which is very, very good, although it makes it so we don't have our 3 aces for our 3 ace move. Again.
Well, here's what I do. I would probably go for the knockdown, and then play 4 attack next turn, because that beats both of his special blocks, because of the mixed-up normals, which we can explain, and combos into 5 ace for damage. And if he tries to counter with a king throw, we can just mental toughness that.
Yep. And
so
here's the other thing that we were talking about in wasting people's resources. he's already used 2 of his kings out of 4. And we can see his remaining cards in his deck, 38. It's very unlikely. Well, I mean, it's not unheard of, but it is statistically unlikely that he has a 3rd or even 4th, king in his hand right now. So we feel pretty confident that he doesn't have one right now.
Yep.
Okay, so we're gonna go with the knockdown, and it just sort of falls over, and sort of tip the sprite sideways.
Yeah. I showed one of my other friends this game, and he was laughing his ass off at the fact that they're just sort of standing up sideways when the knockdown thing. But he says, like, it kind of does make sense because that's how you'd do it on an actual tabletop if you were using a physical deck. You just take the character card, turn it sideways, and say, okay, that shows that they're knocked down. So even though it is hilarious in the online version, that is how you'd manage it on tabletop.
I don't think that's actually stated in the rulebook anywhere, but that's how we do it. Yeah, you tap your card.
Yeah.
Well, I think tap is like copyrighted by Wizards of the Coast or whatever. But anyway.
Well, even on the online version, there are some people who, even though their character is clearly sideways, they've forgotten that they're knocked down, and then you use the knockdown advantage, and then they're like, "Oh shit, I forgot."
That happens. What's more common is forgetting to turn them back to standing up after.
Yeah.
Anyway, I get to make the decision for like the 10th time in a row. I'm just gonna go with our plan of 4 attack. Good with it?
Sure.
4 attack. And we succeeded. So, normally, block beats attack. Oh, I like it.
Yeah.
We got under his skin, stone skin there, that got so normally,
mix up normal.
Let's
explain.
But when you are knocked down, even-numbered normal attacks beat odd-numbered blocks and vice versa. So you penetrate blocks with the opposite odd-even, which we did. And both of Rook's blocks that we were worried about, his 5 and his 3, are odd. So that's why we knew that was going to work. So now, and he did not play a face down, so now we can go directly into our super move. Would we like to do that? I don't see any reason why we would not like to do that.
Sure. Would you want to go into 5 and then ace?
No, you
That's
can't. This takes 3 combo points out of it.
Oh, right. He didn't Joker. And we have 3. There, let's do it.
Power of Storms.
True Power of Storms. That move, whenever I am playing a Grave player, that move is the bane of my existence. Because it only takes 3 aces, and it's an ender. So they use it like 3 times in a match, and I have to end up trying to dodge it 3 times.
Yeah. Well, the thing that we probably will need to explain about aces is that, unlike all the other cards we were saying you run out of them, aces you can continuously get back, which I guess they saw with us powering up, because you can, when you power up, you can take them from your discard.
So, for example, and Gold Burst, which is when we just play the joke. Oh, lovely. So, if we were to play a Gold Burst this turn, we'd be able to retrieve 2 aces from a discard. And then we'd be able to power up both of those 5s or 10s there, and get the 3rd ace back from the discard, and then we'd be able to use True Power of Storms again.
Indeed.
And do another 45 damage, and that's why I hate Grave.
But that would be a waste at this point, because he's only at 13 health, so we can beat him with non-super moves at this point.
Yeah, if I were Rook at this point, I'd be blocking my ass off, so use that 8th throw.
8th throw?
Yeah.
8th throw it is. Whoop.
Oh, we had another king.
He says we choose poorly. So,
if we had 5, if we had played a 5 and then gone into Dragonheart, that would have killed him.
Yeah. So, of course, I can say all I want about the statistical probability of him getting another king, but the fact is, he's going to get one eventually, and when he does, he's going to just play it.
Statistics aren't necessarily the best for determining these things, though, because, I mean, I once drew 2 jokers at the start of a match when playing against Valerie, who liked to do big combos.
Yeah.
And so I combo broke her twice.
Yeah,
and
there's
she
no way somebody would see that coming.
And she rage quit.
Anyway,
so it's you.
I think that throw would be a good option in this case also. We have the crappiest of throws, but that doesn't really matter because Rook has such good throws that we would never win on a throw off.
all throws are equal against Rook. Unless you're also a grappler, I guess. But, yeah.
Yeah.
What's your meatery? Meatery is like the least grapply of the grapplers.
Yeah, I mean, some people have argued that Zane has a little bit of grappler because he has that 5 throw, right?
Yeah.
Anyway, we have two 10s right now, and we're not going to need the effect of both of them. So I would do the 10th round.
Go ahead.
Dang it.
Oh dear. Now
Okay,
might
so,
be a good point to use the blue burst, I think. Because why would Rook 6 attack if not to combo?
I agree. And there he goes.
6, 7, 8 is his highest number. Oh, Jack. Okay.
Okay, so we draw 2 cards from successfully combo breaking, and his combo fails at everything except for the initial reveal card. So we took 6 damage, but we didn't take any of that damage or any of that damage. And we drew 2 cards.
Yeah.
So
So we survived 8 damage, which is less damage than I thought we would have survived, because if I were Rook and I was playing a 6, I'd try and go for a straight 6, 7, 8, which would be 15 extra damage. If I were you, I would king. I would king, yes. I would king attack if I were you. And then if it hits, combo it into a 5-6.
I mean, is our fastest attack that's not a Shoryuken.
Yeah, but I mean, if he manages to stonewall us, then the Shoryuken does like 10 damage to us, but the Whirlwind does only 7.
What the heck?
So that's what I'd do if I were you.
Fantastic.
Awesome. Is he going to Joker there? He kind of needs to.
He did not play as Joker, even though he still has it, doesn't he? I'm pretty sure he does.
I'm fairly certain we saw a Joker in his hand, and then he just hasn't played it.
That is correct.
Although, okay, go 5-6 then.
And we play the combo that wins the game, which he could have so easily avoided, but did not.
Maybe Yomi Bot gets a little bit depressed sometimes. Because I don't know, sometimes when I'm getting a little bit frustrated and depressed, I'm like, what's the point of even playing a Joker now?
Well, there's also that mentality of, you know, at the very end of the game, like, people always just play, like, try to bluff and, like, say they have a Joker, but it's like, the person, you always come across as very desperate at the end. But then, I mean, if you really do have a Joker, that's great.
Except if you're the Yomi Bot, because the Yomi Bot doesn't have emotions, so it doesn't, like, it can't get frustrated or desperate. And sometimes that leads to hilarious situations in which they can use a Joker to avoid dying, but don't.
Yeah, I don't get it. But anyway, we have successfully completed our first match against Yomi Bot. I suppose what we should do now is
fatality.
Awesome victory. So I suppose
it would be a
what we should
supreme
do now-
victory, but be under half health. So yeah.
Yeah, well, semi
Ultra.
okay.
No.
So
no, that's
do
with
we want
Guy.
to try to find a real opponent to see who's on
Yeah,
right now?
let's find a real opponent.
Okay. So I guess we will cut here and come back when we find someone to play with.
Yep.